This recording? Oh yeah. Alright, so trying to figure out this little transition that happened with the world. So I'm thinking, like, I heard this quote off this movie that say, nothing in life changes unless you change it. You can't change the world, but you can change yourself. So I'm trying to figure out, at what point in life did the world start changing? I get it, like with Mother Nature, global warming, this and that. Yeah, that's a change, but that's natural. The change I'm talking about is what happened to where all the people shift their morals and respect. Like, we went from, like, the slavery time wasn't even that far back. So I be thinking about that too, because I'm thinking, like, my mama was born in 1969. My grandfather had her when he was 22 years old. So just say from 70, he was born in 50, I think 51, something like that. So slavery wasn't that old. But the slaves had a reason to stand on what they believe in. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have got out of slavery. But, like, from my grandma's time and my grandpa, that was around slavery time. Still, like, right before that, around that time, yeah, that was like around slavery time. So I'm thinking, because I know my grandma picked cotton and shit. They was born in Mississippi, and they had a lot of land and stuff out there, so I know they was probably in the cotton fields and stuff. So I'm thinking this, all right, so from the time my grandmother and my grandfather had my mama, they had a different set of rules that was out at the time. Like, whatever my grandma taught my mama and them intensed it like times 10, because, like, they used to get in trouble, but there was so many of them in that generation, you really couldn't discipline everybody the same, because this generation was having, like, they wasn't having like 4 and 5 kids. Like, they was having 10 to 12 to 15 kids. Like, 'cause my grandma and mama, I think she had 15. My grandma had like 9 or 10, something like that. So from my grandma generation to my mama and them, it went to going down to like that generation with my mama and them, like, people was having, like, say, like 7, 6, 3, 4 kids at the most. And then it comes down to my mama and them kids, which is us. All of us, we have like 2 or 3 kids, like 4 at the most. So every generation, we start having less kids, which means we can pay more attention because we have less kids. They was raised off of different type of morals and respect. Like, you couldn't just tell them no anything. They wasn't just going for anything. Nowadays, the things that they taught us, it don't even matter. Because they used to straight tell us, don't let nobody tell you no anything. You go find out on your own. Now it's like, it's vice versa. Y'all let people tell y'all anything. It's crazy, because the toughest people right now to this day, they not like they was when they was raising us. And it was more of us. That's what I don't understand. It's like, the least kids, like the less kids that you got, the lighter off you are with them. But if it's a whole bunch of y'all, like, you have to enforce the discipline. That's what my mind frame getting to. Cause I'm like, something just don't add up. Like, with these generations, and it's not that the world changed. It's that Nigga, we changed. Ain't no such, like, what happened? Because the neighborhood that we in right now, this the neighborhood that my family was raised in. This the same streets that people we went to middle school in. We walked on these same streets. And we got our ass bust on these same streets, outside and inside. And we turned out kind of good. Like our whole generation. I think our generation is probably the last ones that actually still stand on what my grandmother and them taught. Because my mom and them don't do it. Like, they let us handle them any type of way, as if, like, I'm talking about, like, they kids. Like, when we was coming up, you couldn't go back and forth with my mom and them. It was like when we got grown, they just started allowing it. But my grandma and them didn't play with them like that. And now it's like they even allow our kids to tell them anything and do anything. And they believe it. Like scripts, like just jump straight over a whole generation. But I'm trying to figure out, like, what happened? Like, did they put something in the water? Did everybody mind black out for a certain amount of time and we don't remember what happened? And then it just, boom, they woke us back up? Because I don't understand. If y'all know how we was raised, the amount of ass whoopings that was passed around in my family, boy, you couldn't even count them. Bro, the amount of ass whoopings I got myself, you couldn't count them. In one day. I'm trying to figure out what a shift when they do. Well, I'll tell you one thing. At this point, it don't seem like there's nothing that we could really do about the grandmas. But with my generation, I feel like it's because the dad is not in the household too, but it's different now. Like back then, well, we don't really know. We think that our daddies wasn't in the household because they just didn't want to be bothered with their children. But you know, it's two sides of every story. Like, we've been staying with mama our whole life, so we hearing mama's side of the story. But mama probably really the reason why your dad has got think about. Like, I got 3 baby mamas. Sometimes you be in a position to where it's not good for you to be around them other kids. Like, really think about it. You could take care of your child. I understand because I made my mistakes in the beginning. And I'm thinking like, yeah, Josh, just because you left don't mean that you don't take care of the kids. Like, you still got to play your part as a daddy. So with my other babes, I got to get it right. Like, you can't keep doing the same thing. So I'm thinking, like, at what point that, like, it never clicked in their mind to go back in their child life or try and find out what their baby mama was doing and nothing like that. So that's past, that's gone. Like, my generation, these dudes actually want to be in the child life. I think the men actually want to be in the child life more than the women these days. It's just that the women got so much access to all of the government programs and all this extra shit to where they ain't giving no men no fire jobs like that. And y'all know, if y'all come from our background, most of us dropped out of school early. They ain't making no excuses for it. It's just, at the age now that I'm at, I see shit different. So I'm looking at it like, I'm thinking about it like, we still kind of like overcame 2 generations, because our generation, like, we could say that we did a lot of things that our mamas didn't do. But that's because y'all think the world changed, when that's not what happened. We just started moving around more. Like, our family was stuck in one area, And y'all got to think about it. Before Katrina hit, people that was in New Orleans, they never left out of New Orleans. So if you was from New Orleans, you was stuck right there in that spot. And I think before social media came, people wasn't networking out of town and shit like that. Like, if you knew people that was out of town, yeah, you was doing your thing. But mostly you was in, to this day, they got people that still never left their city. And if you was from somewhere, you stayed in your city. I think I liked it more when you only could go to your city, and if you had to go somewhere else, like, you can't just go to nobody else's city. It ain't like that no more. You can go wherever you want, do whatever you want. You could be a boss all around America. Back in the day, it wasn't like that. Like, in New Orleans, you couldn't go in every project back in the day unless you was really stamped or you was a real killer known for, and then not even that. You still couldn't do that. You go do that in your project. I don't know. But I'm saying all this to say, I think what my mom was lying about the system. Because I'm telling her, how you gonna tell me about a system that you never been in before? Because you never been to jail. But she told us from the beginning there's only gonna be two things that's gonna happen to you if you choose that lifestyle. You're either gonna die or you're gonna go to jail. So all of us thought that we knew something different that our mamas didn't know. Come to find out, our mamas knew every fucking thing that they was talking about. And we went out there 10 times head first in what they did. And we paid for it. But they didn't tell us the side of the game that you could get out that shit too. It was just like once, the only thing that they said was like, if you choose that lifestyle, there's only two things that's gonna happen. They forgot to mention the part that you can actually leave this lifestyle whenever you want to. You don't have to continue to do this. Like, make your money, stay out the way, invest your money the right way, still keep your job, and the money that you making, don't forget why you making the money. See, we start out making the money because we come from a fucked up environment and you want to try and pull your family out of a situation. You want everybody to be out of a situation, but you got to get yourself out of that situation first to be able to help them. So, you know, if you got somebody in the family that's really eating, it's going to keep pulling from them because it's so many people that they trying to get out this situation. So we trying to get everybody to eat so we all could get out the situation and everybody just get jammed up. Back to back to back. And imagine what this do to your family. More people on drugs. More children without their daddy. Fall right back into that system. Right back into that trap. And it's so easy to beat it. All you gotta do is actually use the talents that we got inside our family, and we wouldn't need nobody else for a motherfucking thing. It's crazy. We got carpenters in the family. My son damn near architect. He ain't number 9 years old. All he want to do is build houses. Everybody in the family down there jack all trades. All the women in the family stamped. I'm talking about every woman in the family got something that they strong at. Each one of them. But it's the men. The men that they choose. Y'all raised us to be these tough ass Superman and and fuck with niggas that act like peasants. A nigga that don't treat you like you supposed to be treated and got the nerve to play with us. That's why we talk back to our mom, dude. Because we see the men that y'all choose. It don't make it right that we do it. But we see. And we knew that these niggas wasn't there. So, you know that level of respect go somewhere. When you try and teach me to be one type of way, and I'm saying something totally different from you. But see, when you get to this age, you realize why mama do what she do. Because you can't change people. You only can change yourself. And if you love somebody, you're going to deal with them regardless to how they is. That's why the family should be so bad. That be the people that be praying on your downfall the most. That be the people that you really get the most hate and criticism for. But y'all love each other so much. It don't matter what you go through, we still gonna be family. But it is what it is. You get to a point to where you just gotta be smart about what you need to do for yourself. Like you want to sit around and keep being a person that's talked about on a negative perspective, or you want to actually do something to keep helping and staying out the way. Like I'd rather help and stay out the way. I don't want to be invited to too much stuff because my vibe different. Like, I'm just on a different path from everybody else in the family right now. And I don't expect for nobody to understand what I'm on, but, like, I can't go against my morals and what I believe in for nobody. Like, right is right, and wrong is wrong, man. I admit to my wrongs more than anybody. Before I even go in a situation with anybody, I'd be sitting there thinking like for a whole day, yeah, Josh, you was tripping. You was tripping. And then I gotta be the first one to forgive people. Because nobody be like trying to take it as far as I take it. I get offended real quick. And it'd be like small shit that really max me out. Cause I'd be like, bro, we ain't even have to do all this. All you have to do is say something. Like, nobody like to say nothing these days. They'll just prolong shit. And I'm blunt. And I don't whisper and shit. I talk loud. Like, I don't know. I just felt like I always was like that coming up. If I had a problem with somebody, I just went straight to them and asked them or told them. Like, but you don't like me? Not that it really matter. I just want to know so I can know what type of time you on. I probably don't do as much as I'm doing. I probably shine a little harder just because you don't like me. But it is what it is. Don't let nobody change how you is. That's all I'm saying. Especially when it come down to them kids. Because the people that discipline me the most, I hated them coming up. They gone now. But to this day, they raised a monster. And it took a whole bunch of them to do it. But they got it done. So, you know, I ain't giving up on nobody. I went around everybody. Like, God sent me through these little phases with everybody. Like, because I never was around my family like that. So he actually gave me a living experience around everybody to see what type of time everybody was on. It wasn't nothing that I planned. It's just that this how it happened. So I see what type of time everybody on, and I know I can make a change at. I know what I could do. You know? I mean, at least on my part. So if I got the kids with me and they're around me in my space, they gonna want to come by me by themselves. It ain't gonna be nothing I'm gonna have to ask to do. Like I told my little niece, I said, Mish, I know why you acting the way that you acting, and I know why you doing the things you do. You feel like nobody don't listen to you. Feel like don't nobody understand you. That's the things that I went through as a child. So I'm the person that the children gonna be able to actually come to, and I'm gonna listen to them. I'm gonna pay attention to every fucking thing they do, good or bad. I ain't missing a beat. I guess that's my purpose though, bro. 'Cause when I first came over here, like I was asking God, like, bro, all I need is my kids, bro. I know how the universe operates, so if you putting out good energy, you know you be returned. But it ain't no time limit on it. So I had this money thing going on, you know, like before I came over here. I'm fucking with that money shit. How like the money thing was really getting to me. And it was coming through, back to back. I went to jail. I got out of jail. I started going like through the back and forth shit with my family. So I'm like, you know, I ain't really tripping on being around y'all because I haven't really been around them my whole life. So when I move around, I don't really be feeling no type of way. It's just something that I'm used to doing. Like, okay, like the little time that I'm around you right now is probably the most they ever saw me in the last probably 10, 15 years. So, fuck, I enjoy the little time around them, the good and the bad. But I'm different from everybody else in the family. And they know this. They gonna love me for it. All of them be mad at me while I be around them. But when I'm not around them, they be asking about me. Like, what that bitch Josh at? What he doing? Shit, man, you gotta be able to live how you wanna live. Like, don't be disrespectful, but tell people how you feel. You know what I'm saying? If they don't understand it, and y'all can't get along, move around. It's simple. Y'all ain't gotta be beefing or nothing like that. Whatever each one of y'all gotta do to protect your peace, do it. I just told my mama some shit the other day. I was mad for like 2 whole days. And I'm sitting there thinking like, how the hell you let somebody else get you mad for 2 days and neither one of these people ain't even around you? And you worrying about something that ain't got nothing to do with you. Whatever their problem is, that's their problem. So it came back. And I just couldn't entertain it. I was like, I told you. Like, hey, it always come back. When you doing the right thing, it always come back. Because if I was doing something wrong, it probably wouldn't have came back that fast. And my mom probably would have been like, see, I told you I was right. No. That ain't how it go. But I ain't gonna change my morals, my principle. And I always have respect. You gotta give respect to get respect. Anybody tell you different, they probably the ones that ain't giving no respect and they damn sure ain't getting respected.